A question of justice. The Taiji men tax case in Taiwan. Taiwan is known as a beacon of democracy in a region plagued by dictators. Yet, in 2020, thousands took to the streets to protest serious violations of human rights on the island. They were members of Taiji men, a Taiwanese spiritual movement based on esoteric Taoism. It promotes a holistic development of mind and body, rooted in the practice of Qigong, including teachings about martial arts and other traditional techniques. Thousands of Taiji men members regularly bring culture to the world through events that have been praised by political authorities, both internationally and in Taiwan. Taiji Men Qigong Academy was founded in 1966 by Dr. Hong Daozi, who is also well known throughout the world for his promotion of world peace and dialogue between religions and cultures.
I could see Taiji men having a very, very positive effect for Taiwanese society.
Dr. Hong's path as a spiritual teacher has not been easy. Religious liberty is something Taiwan has achieved through a bumpy road only. In 1996, largely for political reasons, the government cracked down on religious and spiritual movements, accused of supporting opposition political parties. The campaign also targeted Taiji men, although it had not taken political sides. On December 19, 1996, Taiji men facilities were raided, and Hong was arrested. He and his wife's assets, including private holdings not connected with Taiji men, were frozen. These actions were carried out upon orders of Taipei court prosecutor Ho Guanren, who developed a personal vendetta against Hong and Taiji men, and was later recognized by Taiwan's Control Yuan, the body entrusted with checking illegal activities by public officials. Prosecutor Ho promoted a self-help association of so-called victims of Taiji men, which was found by the Taipei District Court to be a false organization whose leaders had created bogus claims. The court also found that there were no victims. On April 15, 1997, Prosecutor Ho indicted Hong, who was freed on bail on May 26, his wife and 3 Taiji men members for operating a fraudulent cult. Ho even accused Hong of raising goblins, something which is totally foreign to Taiji men's practices. From his public statements, it looked like Prosecutor Ho was the one who really believed in goblins. Between April and June 1997, Prosecutor Ho wrote to state and local administrations ordering the dissolution of Taiji men, and even that water and electricity supplies to Taiji men facilities in Taipei be cut. The Ministry of the Interior and local governments later annulled these orders and declared them illegal, as no decision had yet been rendered against Hong. In fact, Prosecutor Ho's case eventually collapsed. On September 25, 2003, Dr. Hong and his co-defendants were acquitted of all charges by the Taipei District Court. On December 13, 2005, the High Court of Taipei confirmed on appeal the first-degree verdict favorable to Taiji men. On July 13, 2007, the Criminal Division of the Supreme Court of Taiwan pronounced the final acquittal of Taiji men defendants, declaring them innocent of all charges. Compensation for the wrongful detention was given to Hong and his co-defendants. However, a byproduct of Prosecutor Ho's ill-fated actions remained. Instigated by Prosecutor Ho, the National Tax Bureau accused Hong of tax evasion and issued tax bills for the years 1991 through 1996. What was the basis of these claims? As it happens in most spiritual movements, members of Taiji men, who are called Dizi, offer money as a gift to Hong, whom they recognize as their Shifu, or master. These gifts are included in so-called red envelopes. The National Tax Bureau claimed that the content of the red envelopes should not be considered as a gift, but as a tuition fee members pay for receiving training in a so-called cram school, meaning a school where students engage in intensive study of a subject for a short period of time. Gifts are not taxable, while cram school's tuition fees are. In Taiwan, there are many Qigong and martial arts organizations, and none has ever been taxed for gifts given to their masters. The Ministry of Education in Taiwan, which has direct regulatory authority over cram schools, declared 3 times, from 1997 through 2000, that Taiji Men is not a cram school. Taiji Men is indeed not a cram school. In 1999 and 2000, both Taiwan's finance minister and deputy finance minister publicly stated that since the Taiji Men tax prosecution derived from a criminal case, if Hong and his co-defendants will be acquitted in the criminal court, then the tax claims would be withdrawn as well. However, this did not happen. Hong and his co-defendants were acquitted of all criminal charges. Yet the National Tax Bureau continued to claim that the money in the red envelopes was a disguised cram school tuition fee and maintained the tax bills. Note that the 2007 Supreme Court decision that acquitted Hong and his co-defendants from all criminal charges explicitly stated that they were not guilty of tax evasion. In 2002, following instructions by the Ministry of Finances, the National Tax Bureau conducted a random survey among Taiji Men Dizi to determine whether they regarded their contributions as gifts or tuition fees. All the 206 Dizi who responded indicated that they considered their contributions as gifts. However, the Tax Bureau declared that only 9 respondents had clearly indicated that their contributions were gifts. The statement was false, but the Tax Bureau refused to release the answers to the survey. Based on the Bureau's false statement about the survey, the Ministry of Finances refused to rectify the tax bills against Hong and Taiji Men. They appealed to administrative courts, and Taiwan's Supreme Administrative Court ruled in favor of Taiji Men on August 6, 2009. On July 17, 2010, the manipulation of the survey was exposed at a public hearing in the Legislative Yuan, i.e. Taiwan's parliament. Later, the National Tax Bureau agreed that a new open survey should be carried out. This happened only in 2011, and results were disclosed in 2012, revealing that there had been 7,401 respondents, and all had answered that they regarded the content of the red envelopes as gifts. The National Tax Bureau had promised to be guided by the results of the survey, yet they reacted by proposing to consider 50% of the money received in the red envelopes as gifts and 50% as tuition fees. This was obviously not consistent with the unequivocal results of the survey. Taiji Men thus started another long journey through Taiwanese courts, supported by legislators and other public authorities, and by human rights organizations throughout the world. From this long and painful struggle, they emerged victorious. In 2018, the Supreme Administrative Court ruled that the content of the red envelopes should be treated as gifts rather than as tuition fees. The basis of the 20-year persecution of Taiji Men by the National Tax Bureau had finally been removed. Unfortunately, this was not the end of Taiji Men's tribulations. The National Tax Bureau had initially alleged tax evasion for 6 years, from 1991 to 1996. After the 2018 decision by the Supreme Administrative Court, it agreed to reduce the tax bills for the years 1991, 1993, 1994, 1995, and 1996 to zero. But based on the claim that for 1992, a decision had been rendered by the Supreme Administrative Court in 2006 and was final, it maintained the tax bill for 1992, including interest. Both the Dizi and the public opinion in Taiwan understood that this was a political vendetta after Taiji Men had publicly proved the National Tax Bureau wrong. Clearly, what happened in 1992 was not different from what happened in the other years, and justice would have mandated to deal with it in the same way. Patently wrong decisions can always be revised if justice has to be served. The tax authorities treated Taiji Men as a cram school and taxed it accordingly. Since the finding of fact was incorrect, the application of law was wrong as well. Therefore, the incorrect court order should not be executed. For example, when you clearly know that a person is wrongfully convicted and sentenced to death, you should not execute the person. You should try to correct the mistake and uphold justice. If the person is killed as per the sentence, then he is unjustly killed by the government. Now that the tax authorities have admitted their mistakes and the criminal court has ordered state compensation, it is unjust for the government to auction the assets of Taiji Men's leader. If it does, that is theft of his property. No appeal by Taiwanese or international politicians, scholars, or human rights organizations stopped this vendetta. Not even courts of law were heard. On May 5th and July 23, 2020, Taipei High Administrative Court wrote twice to the National Tax Bureau of the Central Area, asking them to treat 1992 as the other years were treated. All this was to no avail. In August 2020, properties belonging to Hong were seized and auctioned, then confiscated after the auction was not successful, despite massive peaceful street protests in Taiwan and appeals by international NGOs. It may seem that this is a battle about money, but it isn't for Taiji Men. They spent in legal fees only, in 24 years of struggles, more than they would have paid had they settled with the National Tax Bureau. Insisting on conscience and justice, they did not settle. By settling, they would have admitted that they had been guilty of tax evasion, something that is both against their principles and factual truth. On the other hand, we can suspect that it really was about money for some bureaucrats. In cases of alleged tax evasion, they get a bonus on the tax bills, and some did get the bonus for the 1992 Taiji Men tax bill. It is not surprising that scholars and human rights activists from all over the world raised their voice in support of Taiji Men. Theirs is not a minor case hanging on technicalities. It has widespread implications, both for Taiwan and the world. Significantly, already in 2005, the Control Yuan had listed the Taiji Men case as one of the most important human rights incidents where it had to intervene. Taiwan is in a difficult moment in its history. Taiwan needs international friends, and it also benefits from its well-deserved public image of a country where, unlike in mainland China, human rights and freedom of belief are respected. The Taiji Men case is a relic of a bygone era, when religious liberty was still not fully respected in Taiwan. The petty tax vendetta against Taiji Men, however, raises doubts on whether the problems of the past have been fully overcome and is detrimental to Taiwan's international image. The fact that Taiji Men's properties were seized and auctioned on the eve of the establishment of Taiwan's National Human Rights Commission on August 1st, 2020, was an unfortunate coincidence, which contributed to the impression that the official rhetoric is at odds with the behavior of some rogue bureaucrats. The case has also international implications. It is a perpetual temptation for politicians and others in power to persecute religious and spiritual minorities that they, for whatever reason, do not like through the misuse of the tax system. The European Court of Human Rights is just one among several authorities that have ruled repeatedly that tax bills cannot be used to discriminate against religious and spiritual movements a government does not approve of.
The European Court of Human Rights stated in a ruling in 2011 in the case Association of Jehovah's Witnesses versus France that through its tax administration, France had unduly harassed a group that had been illegitimately put on a blacklist of so-called harmful cults. The court went to explain that monetary offers made by devotees to their spiritual leaders or organizations are obviously gifts. The court concluded that considering donations as taxable payments is a typical way that some governments use and misuse to discriminate against movements that they don't like. But this is illegal under international human rights law.
I think that it is as bad, if not worse, to allow an injustice to continue as it is to create the injustice in the first place. And that is what's happened here with Taiji Men.
Taiji men are not fighting for themselves only. They raise a crucial question of justice, freedom of belief, and human rights. In this sense, we are all Taiji men. The injustice perpetrated against them is injustice against all of us. Their victory will be our victory.
Hello everyone, welcome to join the webinar Teacher I Want to Say for UN World Teachers Day on October 5th. This is your host, Kavian. In the opening video, the question of justice, the Taiji men test case in Taiwan, just review a huge question difficult to all teachers. Why the real world is totally different with what teacher told us. The government should protect people. How could they be the ones who persecute people and continue the persecution over 25 years? Today is UN World Teachers Day. Which teachers will come up to your mind at this moment? What makes good teachers different with others? I think the answer is conscious. Teachers should be the conscious of education. So we specially invite 7 teachers with love and conscience to share their stories in education and speak up for Taiji men case in order to protect people's rights and avoid the persecution of human rights. Hope all walks of life pay attention to the importance of education, conscience, and human rights to prevent this kind of persecution happen to our next generation again. Taiji men case has raised international attention from prosecutors' false prosecution, tax officer Shi Yuesen's confession, and the Taiji men Dizi's petition at home and abroad. It has become unimaginable persecution of human rights in democratic Taiwan. Let's see the video.
Taiji Men Qigong Academy and the Action Alliance to Redress 1219 have sought justice from Taiwan's government through live protests and virtual forums.
Stop violating Taiji men's human rights!
So the Taiji Men Qigong Academy case started in 1996, and it was persecution on spiritual groups, and Taiji Men Qigong Academy was caught in the crossfire of all of that. Despite the Supreme Court of Taiwan's rulings that we're innocent and tax-free, a few rogue bureaucrats continue to send us tax bills, and even just last year in 2020, our land was illegally auctioned off.
The Taiji Men case has also garnered support from scholars around the world.
And in Taiwan, the long-running attack against the Taiji men community by bureaucratic despots within the tax administration have led many religious freedom experts around the world to condemn this form of administrative religious persecution.
The abuse of the National Tax Bureau has lasted for almost a quarter of a century. I call upon the Taiwan government to honor the law, the sentences passed by its judges, and the moral responsibility it has to watch over and protect all its citizens equally, as determined by its own mandate.
A breakthrough in the case occurred when the principal witness, on whom the prosecutor based his tax evasion accusation against Taiji men, told a journalist that the prosecutor oversaw the case and that the witness testimony was merely a formality. The witness revealed that illegal tax bills were issued to Taiji men at the request of the Investigation Bureau's City Field Office. Shi Yuesen accepted this interview when seriously ill and revealed that he was pressured to do what the prosecution told him to do. Although he has since passed away, Taiji men is hopeful that his testimony will provide the evidence needed to obtain justice.
It proves that what happened was not a mistake. There was no mistake. it was a deliberate framing of Taiji men for obscure motivations through false documents, false accusations, and a false tax investigation that never happened. Now, if this is not enough to reopen the Taiji men case and cancel the 1992 tax bill, give back to Taiji men their sacred land, I don't know what more is needed. It's a general principle of the law all over the world that when new elements emerge, even final decisions can and should be revised. Revision is a fundamental principle of justice.
So far this year, the Action Alliance to Redress 1219 has presented messages to representatives from TECRO, the Taiwan Economic and Cultural Representative Office in San Francisco and Washington, D.C.
We're Taiji men members in the United States. We conveyed our message to Taiwan's Representative Lai in San Francisco.
We have just conveyed our message to Taiwan's Representative Xiao in D.C.
So far, there has been no response, but the Taiji Men Qigong Academy and the Action Alliance to Redress 1219 continue their activism in person and online, where scholars continue to voice their support for the cause.
The government of Taiwan should do the right thing and eliminate the tax from 1992, which is just absurd considering what has happened for 1991 and the other years, and to restore the property that was unlawfully seized.
The difference with Taiji men is that they fight. And perhaps it's not too much to say that they're fighting to preserve Taiwan as a democratic country that follows its own laws and stifles corruption in bureaucracy.
Justice for Taiji men, for human rights!
Freedom from fear is natural human rights, also the basic protection countries should provide to people. As a teacher, let's lead by example and safeguard human rights to set good example to next generation. The first speaker today is Professor Tony. The reason why he wants to be a teacher is that he wants to cultivate students to become people who could contribute to the country and the society. And he believes example is better than precept. Let's welcome his sharing.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony, and I'm glad to participate in this forum. Remember that when I started as a teacher, I hope to help students learn knowledge and cultivate students to become people who contribute to the society and the country. In addition to teaching students knowledge and skills, teachers' behavior also affects the next generation imperceptibly and help students build an accurate and honest attitude towards knowledge that will impact the life of students. Last year, a graduate from 20 years ago brought 5 cartons of his homemade sausages to visit me and discuss his future career development with me. I chatted with him and encouraged him to have different career paths smoothly. This year, he brought another 5 cartons of his homemade sausages to visit me again. What's the most commendable is the graduates still visit me after so long ago. The most important thing for teachers in knowledge transferring process is character education. The better the effect of character education, the better the country will progress. Teachers teaching knowledge and skills based on school education goals and school at all levels. Cultivate talents based on national education goals. The indicators of freedom, democracy, non-democracy, and the human rights affect the progress and the prosperity of the country. The country is composed of the people. It is the civil servants who maintain the operation of the country. The public servants cultivated by the country value the freedom, democracy, non-democracy, and the human rights. The country will be more progressive and prosperous. The purpose of the United Nations World Teachers' Day is to praise and appreciate the teachers from all over the world for their contribution to education and mankind. It can be understood that teachers play a very important role in the world education. I am a Taiji Men teacher, and my Shifu is Dr. Hong Daozi, the Zangmen of Taiji Men. His personal behaviors and words have influenced me. I have been a teacher for more than 20 years, and 5 of them I have been selected as an excellent mentor. 2,500 years ago, Confucius took his disciples to travel around the world. For more than 50 years, Dr. Hong led this to travel around the 5 continents. The mayor of Washington, D.C., Anthony Williams, specially designated March 22, 2000 as the Taiji Men Qigong Academic Day, and praised Taiji Men as the International Peace Goodwill Ambassador, the ambassador of Kiribati to United Nations. Teburaro Tito once called Dr. Hong modern Confucius. However, such a high-quality cultural organization has been subjected to human rights violations in Taiwan for the past 25 years, and this case has not been solved yet. 24 years ago, National Taxation Bureau issued illegal tax penalties based on a criminal indictment without conducting any actual investigation. On July 13, 2007, the Supreme Court confirmed that Taiji Men was committed no fraud, no tax evasion, no violation of tax code, but the NTV ignored the court's decision and continued to issue illegal tax bills to Taiji Men. On August 21st, 2020, the sacred place of Taiji Men was illegally auctioned off and returned to national ownership. The Taiwanese government should protect the Taiji Men and resolve this fraud tax case under the political purge in a fair but transparent manner. Dr. Rene Wardle, chairman of the United Nations NGO World Citizenship Council, said that Taiji Men conducts cultural exchanges all over the world. The exchanges have allowed many people to understand Taiwan's rich cultural life and heritage, as well as the pursuit of love and peace, especially for many years of persecution in human rights. They choose to continue to promote conscience, love and peace, which is very rare. Taiwan's human rights and democracy are not easy to come by this if the current supervision mechanism of one office of president and 5 years in Taiwan is unable to correct the violations of these few officials. How can it be called a democracy country? The government must administer according to the law. Only by implementing the rule of law, Taiwan can move towards true democracy, and the country can progress and prosper. Thank you so much.
Thanks to Professor Tony's sharing. As Dr. Rene Wardle, chairman of UN NGO World Citizenship Council mentioned, the Taiwanese government should protect the Taiji Men and resolve this fraud tax case under political purge in a fair but transparent manner. Please make it happen as soon as possible. Next, we will invite Yaji, an enthusiastic and popular teacher, and she has chances to meet with presidents and UN Secretary General. What has she done to make her who she is? Let's welcome her sharing.
Hello everyone, my name is Yagi. I'm honored to be invited and participate in the forum. Since 1994, we have several World Teacher Day on October 5th every year to commemorate the UNESCO IO recommendation concerning the status of teacher adopted on October 5th, 1966. World Teacher Day is also a self-reflection day for teachers. I have been in the education field for nearly 28 years. Each year on World Teacher Day, I receive greeting and appreciation from parents and students. 16 years ago, a mother of students who birthed a defect sent me for caring for the body and mind of her son, not just for the academia. Her son was able to live a happy life again. And other parents of a student who just graduated the previous year thanks me for handling her son birthing situation in a low grade. In the upper grade, the two children, the birdies and the buddy, were in the same class again. I mediated between the two so that the birdie student could go to school happily and bravely. The society had changed, and the teacher training are getting growing. Fortunately, when I was still in school trying to be a teacher, I joined Taiji Men and started practice Qigong, which made me more patient when faced with the challenges and misunderstandings. Under my Sifu, Dr. Hong guidance and teaching by example, I have made my ordinary career as a teacher extraordinary. My life is splendid and growing because of Dr. Hong and Taiji Men. I had traveled to 5 continents with Dr. Hong. I had experienced a devastating earthquake and understand that the life is short. My own house was destroyed by the earthquake, but guided by Dr. Hong, unselfish heart, I joined the disaster response volunteer effort the next day. I witnessed September 11 and the Twin Towers falling firsthand. It helped me understand that the negative influence is fast when positive influence is slow. So I hurry up to do good deed myself and to influence people around me to do good deed together. I have also had coffee with the Ethiopian president, a long talk with the First Lady of Dominican Republic, kissed by the truck by the President of Dominican Republic, shook hands with the former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, Mrs. Annan, and the President of the Republic, Cindy Leung. I needed contact and received the Secretary of Maintenance phone call, the Lead of Maintenance House, and etc. All these different experiences are attributed to Dr. Hong, Grandmaster of Taiji Men. However, Taiji Men has suffered injustice, especially the presidential Kwanden abuse of power in 1996. Although the criminal case was acquitted in the Supreme Court trial on July 13, 2007, and no tax evasion was found. The National Tax Bureau did not comply with the Crown Division. The verdict was that it was an innocent case, but the Tax Bureau illegal action of Taiji Men scared them last year. I often think that in the 25-year-long litigation with the Taiwan government, I wonder how many people in the world have lost the opportunity to join Taiji Men, to increase the positive energy and to decrease the negative energy. And after the Taiji Men case, as a teacher, I often think about how I can teach my children to have conscience, be able to admit their mistakes, correct themselves, have a common sense of law, be democratic, handle law cases scientifically and honestly. Therefore, I use my spare time to host a radio program to show upbeat short story about the practice of Taiji Men practitioners. Some people almost commit suicide and then change their mind after hearing the program. I also visit registered supervisor committees, experts, and scholars everywhere in Taiwan, hoping that the illegal testation can be reformed and there is no illegal testation problem in the future for my students. When dealing with the student issue in school, I will be more cautious and let the evidence speak. However, to be honest, I have met a teacher like Ho Kwan-den who handled cats by just looking from the surface. Therefore, in Taiwan, when such prosecutor exists, the whole society should be re-educated on both the democratic concept and the influence of indulgence. I have also met corrupt school superintendents and administrators without the sense of responsibility. I understand that if the Taiji case is not settled, the party's culture cannot be broken. In the Taiji case, the whole chain illegal from the self-help association and entice the Taiji deeds to give false testimony. Aiding and abetting the crime is a sin nowadays because of the decreasing birth rate. The emphasis on education of law is that many parents themselves are children who are educated by beating and scolding. Such children shirk their responsibility to the teacher when they encounter problems, causing tension in the relationship between parents and teachers. If a person does not have respect for teacher and moral, the social interaction will be even more corrupt. Prosecutor Ho Jian is a sinner who undermines traditional matters. Many allies have often told me, "I wish you were my daughter." When my parents were alive, I called them daddy and visit weekly or bi-weekly. Although I'm so busy with charity activity, I have never started calling and caring for them. On World Teachers' Day, I will send a message to my teacher, and on my Taiji anniversary day, I will call my recruiter. How many 25 years life, what can one help? Now I'm a half century old. Watching many Taiji deeds, Dr. Hong and Mrs. Hong get older. The world is getting more and more chaotic, and my heart is full of emotion. One fake test case, and everyone suffer. Don't wait for the angel of people and gods. The land, fire, water, and air will come before people wake up. I hope that on this day of commemoration of World Teacher Day, everyone can always thank the mentors he or she encountered in their life. If people are grateful, the world will be more peaceful and full of hope. Thank you for listening.
I really feel sad, as Judge mentioned. Negative influence grows exponentially while positive influence is linear. And I wonder how many people in the world have lost the opportunity to join Taiji Men during the 25-year-long litigation with Taiwanese government. That's the loss of the world. That's why we need more and more people to join us to spread good deeds to the world. In the classroom, what kinds of kids will draw Alice's attention? Let's hear her sharing.
Hello everyone, I'm Alice. I'm a teacher teaching elementary school students. To me, teaching is interesting and full of challenges because children are just like several mystery grab bags. Everyone is unique and they always have many kinds of questions in class. The different students and all the funny questions from them make each class full of surprise and challenges. In the classroom, those who draw my attention the most are not the outgoing or talkative students, but the children that always sit quietly on their seat, because these kind of kids always make me think of my childhood. When I was little, I was very shy and timid. not dare to say anything in a familiar surroundings. I still remember that once my mom took me to take an English course, I always answered the teacher's question in a very quiet voice. The teacher even said it seemed that I was talking to the ant, not her. Later, my family and I went to Taiji to practice Qigong. I joined many practices of cultural performances. In the process of practicing, I became more and more independent and braver, and gradually was able to meet new people in an environment without my parents. With the bravery, I even host various activities and went abroad with my Shifu brothers and sisters to promote the message of conscience, love, and peace. Now, I could speak eloquently in front of crowds. I have seen many brothers and sisters change as much as I after joining Taiji. Therefore, to me, our Shifu is really an excellent educator. 2,500 years ago, Confucius led his disciples to travel around states. For more than 50 years, Shifu had led these to practice the educational philosophy of love and peace. We travel around the world to promote conscience and culture of peace, spreading the seed of conscience, and have visited over 300 cities in more than 100 countries so far. We have received many international honors and friendships. In 2000, Taiji was honored by the U.S. as an International Goodwill Ambassador for Peace. However, such a great group was persecuted by the public power. 25 years ago, because of fake indictment of prosecutor Hou Quanren, Taiji Shifu and deeds started the endless way to seek redress. Even though the criminal courts had proved our innocence, the tax problem originated from the failed criminal case wasn't solved at the same time. The NTB still goes on with the illegal tax bill. Last year, the NTB even conspired with an administrative enforcement agency, auctioning the land which was intended for building the Taiji Self-Conservation Center. The land was forcibly nationalized. The controversy has pointed out that Prosecutor Hou Quanren had 8 major violations of law, including violation of private investigation, illegal search, and exceeding legal authority when he was handling the Taiji case. But he was not punished at all because the High Prosecutor Office proclaimed that the 10-year disciplinary statute of limitation has expired. In fact, it was only 6 years from the date of Hou's persecution to the completion of controversial investigation. It's not expired at all. In contrast, the tax case originating from the criminal case continues to afflict Taiji deeds. It's been 25 years and it's not over. This case is an illegal indictment brought by Prosecutor Hou on behalf of the state against the people, unlawfully robbing people's assets. It has caused loss of people's property, damage to their reputation, and long suffering for more than 20 years. It's not only the huge waste of public funds, judicial and administrative resources, and social cost, but also serious violation of human rights, hurting people and the country. The illegal tax bill originating from the unlawful indictment should be abolished according to the law. My Shifu once said that culture of conscience nurtures love and peace. A conscience-based culture is crucial for the sustainable development of the earth. Hope everyone could be a leader of conscience. Through conscience, we constantly re-examine the culture that has been transmitted to us. An excellent culture is the foundation of a quality education, which is essential for sustainable economic development. Therefore, I bring the concept of conscience into the class to help students understand the importance of it. I hope the seed of conscience could germinate and grow in the hearts of these kids, becoming a compass to guide them in the right direction and an inner rule for them to tell what to do and what not to do. In class, I always emphasize to students that the purpose of studying is to learn how to live a life with right attitude and be able to tell right from wrong. It's important to admit, apologize, and fix it when making a mistake. We, as adults, our words and deeds are easily imitated by kids. So we should be more careful with our words and deeds and set good examples to them. Here, we urge all government officials to do everything according to the laws and conscience, and truly put themselves in the shoes of the people when making policies and decisions, providing a friendly and stable environment for the future generation. Thank you.
I think what Alice wants to do is so important, to bring the concept of conscience into the class to help students understand its importance. Hope the seeds of conscience would grow in their hearts, becoming a compass to guide them in the right direction and to tell them what to do and what not to do. Next presenter will be Professor Bruce. He will share with us the purpose and the importance of education and discuss the topic about obstacle to legal education caused by Taiwan government versus Taiji Man case.
Hi everyone. Well, welcoming the 2021 World Teachers Day. Being a senior college-age teacher, I would like to take this opportunity to say something concerning issues of education. First of all, let's discuss the first issue. That is the purpose of education. Summary of typical models from scholars is follow. And they say education is an art of appreciating life. Its purpose is to teach us values, develop stimulated intellect, understand the tolerance for disagreeable belief system, pick out opportunity to question what exists, and contribute to the growth of human society. And then comes the second issue, that is the importance of education. Mainstreaming interpretation sum as number one, stable individual's life. Second, teaches values. Third, builds competence. 4, create opportunity. 5, foster critical thinking. 6, interpersonal skill development. 7, builds character. 8, fulfill basic needs. 9, knowledge and heritage. 10, goal accomplishment. Meanwhile, I would like to cite words of wisdom from Dr. Hong Daos, president of UN NGO AWC, and he said, a good culture can have a good education. A good education leads to good economy. The connotation of education first focuses on inheritance of high-quality culture and cultivation of moral and conscious education. Conscience is the good human nature. Through education and self-awakening, it can stop evil and promote good and affect this country, society, and the world. Moreover, a case study related legal education of Taiwan will be put on my presentation today. Please refer to slide 1. The topic entitled is Obstacle to Legal Education Caused by Taiwan Government versus Taiji Man case. In corresponding to mentioned case, let's go through the full picture of Taiji Man case by briefing the story. Please refer to slide number 2. Taiji Man Qigong Academy is an international nonprofit organization which established in 1966 by Dr. Hong Daos in response to a calling to bring both physical and spiritual health to modern society.
Dr. Hong teaches his 弟子
the philosophy and wisdom of life, and guiding them to cultivate moral character and purify hearts while enhancing physical, moral, and spiritual health.
Dr. Hong and his 弟子
have visited 300 cities in more than 100 countries, developing more than 2 million man-hours in cultural performances around the world to promote international friendship and spread the beauty of the Chinese culture across the world. Over 300 on-campus education seminars on love, peace, and human rights have been held internationally. Taiji case started in 1996. Persecution due to the illegally revoked tax bills for 25 years has made the case an iconic indicator of human rights violation in Taiwan. On July 13, 2007, the third instance ruling of the criminal code specified that Taiji is not guilty. Taiji did not commit tax evasion and do not violate the Tax Act. Taiji case is rare and unique. People can not imagine so-called democratic country infringe a legal organization in such a bad manner by abusing their legal and taxation system. Many facts revealed a nation's violence as cruel and uncivilized. The important violation facts of this case, please refer to slide number 3 and itemized as follows. So please refer number 1 to number 9. So finally, I hereby urge the government to respond. Some suggestions followed. The first, the redress of Taiji case has important and embedded AC. Second, the perpetrator of the Taiji case were not punished, and they were promoted to serve as the worst case and worst example. 3, it is not tolerable for officials to make mistakes. They should admit their mistake and apologize to citizens. The last, the government should avoid making mistakes unless solving them courageously and keeping conscientious administration to set a good example of democracy. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for Professor Bruce's summary on Taiji case, and we urge the government to admit their mistakes and solving them courageously and keeping conscientious administration to set a good example of democracy. Next, we will invite Connie to talk about tax authority corruption issue.
Hello everyone, I'm a retired teacher, and I have been a Taiji teacher for 15 years. I consider myself extremely fortunate to be a Taiji teacher, since Taiji has transformed me into a compassionate individual. I had a transferred student whose heart had been seriously hurt by many complex reasons before he entered my class, and I once witnessed him write on a piece of paper, if he could, he would kill everyone in the world. Oh my God. I worked for 3 years to figure out how to get the rest of the class to warm his heart with me. And finally, we succeeded. 13 years after he graduated from school, he came back to me and said, "Teacher, I've kept my promise and just take a legal job," even when he met boss without conscience. He refused to work for him and got another instead. This is also why I'm brave enough to express my opinions here for Taiwan's betterment. I'd like to ask you 2 questions first as a teacher on this International Teachers' Day. Do you know that our tax agents create bogus tax bills for promotions and bonuses? Do you know that our National Taxation Bureau, with its tremendous taxing authority, is known to be among the most corrupt in the world? Regardless of whether you answered yes or no, it's now or never to join us in the fight against our corrupt tax authority. Let me demonstrate how powerful their taxing authority is. Prosecutor Hou Kuan-ren aided the tax collector Shi Yuesheng, who had never visited Taiji in April 1997. The total actual accounts cited in the indictment were roughly 610,000 NT dollars. But whole quantum made up a 3.2 billion NT dollars figure. You know, it's 5,000 times more. Shi confessed that he had no justice, as you can see in the video, and that Ho was in charge of everything, and he simply listened and obeyed orders. Then his fake testimony became the only testimony in the indictment and the evidence for the accusation against Taiji men. The indictment, in a sense, contains items that must be validated and so cannot be used as a basis or evidence for tax purposes. However, the Taxation Bureau issued the tax bill based on the illegal indictment alone. On July 13, 2007, Taiji man was found not guilty and tax exempt in the third judicial trial, and was once set compensation in 2009. However, the unjust Taiji man tax bills remain after 24 years. And last year, the Administrative Enforcement Agency auctioned and then illegally confiscated Taiji man's land, which was designated by us for our spiritual retreat. A former senior auditor of the National Taxation Bureau of Kaohsiung said, "The model is okay. Then if you see who has the money, just issue tax bills on them. See how powerful their taxing authority is." We all know that when you tell a lie, you have to cover it with even more lies. It's difficult for me to comprehend why these illegal officials believe their lies can give the whole Taiwanese population of the entire world, isn't it? Ari Rocks, chairperson of the European Interreligious Forum for Religious Freedom, said, "Injustice in democratic countries are worse than those occurring in totalitarian regions, since they may lower the standards of democracy in the entire world. Since Taiwan is one of the world's great democracies, I hope the National Taxation Bureau and the administrative agency have the ability to confess their errors with conscience. Trust me, the sooner you confess, the sooner you can have a good night's sleep. Besides, our president and other high-ranking authorities should do everything possible to resolve the Taiji man case and return the land to Taiji man. Otherwise, the illegal officials would destroy the image of our democracy. Thank you for your time and consideration."
Thanks for Connie's sharing. National Taxation Bureau should not have such huge authority to issue tax bill whatever they want. This is not how a democratic country working. What Ari Rouse, chairperson of the European Interreligious Forum for Religious Freedom, said is important. Injustice in democratic countries are worse than those occurring in totalitarian regions, since they may lower the standards of democracy in the entire world. Daisy regained her health and learned how to cultivate herself in Taiji man. Let's see what she would share with us.
Hello everyone, I'm teacher Daisy. It's my pleasure to share my journey of learning to be a teacher, which reflects my experience of 27 years of practicing Taiji man Qigong. First of all, health brings a good life. I have been suffering from anemia, so I feel tired easily. Practicing Qigong helps me increase the oxygen and energy in my body, and my body is more energetic, so I can participate in many interesting learning activities, such as participating in Taijimen cultural performances and learning doing news interview and news writing. In addition, I have enough physical strength to accompany my students, to study, to share with my students my enthusiasm of life, and to increase their interest in learning. I am very grateful for the health and enthusiasm which I have gained as a Taijimen Dizi, has built a good foundation for my career. Secondly, becoming an influential teacher, I have many shortcomings, but after becoming a Taijimen Dizi, through my Taijimen Shifu's teaching, I've realized that no matter how many shortcomings I have, the most important thing is to correct them. My daily practice of Qigong allows me to do self-reflection. If I do good, I affirm myself. If I do bad, I try to correct myself. Practicing Qigong brings me positive energy, so I can easily see what each student's strength is, and I give them encouragement. And when they are encouraged, they feel happy and willing to continue learning. And this positive cycle makes me very happy. I'm very grateful to my Shifu for teaching me to encourage myself and my students. It has become the driving force for me to advance in education. Thirdly, Taijimen provides the best environment for learning. Through self-cultivation, brothers and sisters together create a learning and sharing environment in the academy, while benefiting from self-correction. I have more willingness to participate in group activities. It becomes a positive cycle of self-learning and self-correction. Taijimen Shifu has great love and confidence for all his deeds. He spent his lifetime in guiding us and leading us to achieve many impossible missions of promoting love and peace in Taiwan and in the world. Gratitude to my Shifu for showing me the bolder vision of love to help people in the world and to achieve my altruistic goal of education. Altruistic Taijimen has been bullied by public power in Taiwan for 25 years, but is standing still and strong. Taijimen stay forward to promote transition justice. Experts and scholars in Taiwan describe the Taijimen case as a mirror reflection of law and taxation. Professor Wei Sichong pointed out there are more than 364 different kinds and 1,001 items of law, which the Taiwan's officials have violated. In the Taijimen case, I will share underneath 2 points regarding the violation that I think are the worst. First, Prosecutor Hou Kuan-ren sued Taijimen for raising gambling. After 10 years of court trials, Taijimen's innocent reputation was finally restored. But what I want to ask is that, without scientific evidence, any prosecutor sued people? Is this supposed to happen in Taiwan in the 20th century? Second, according to Control Yuan's investigation in Taijimen case, Hou Kuan-ren had 8 major violations of law, and National Tax Bureau had 7 violations when handling the case. However, the investigation report of Control Yuan doesn't work. No official has been punished at all. Moreover, the main perpetrators, Hou Kuan-ren and Zhang Shenghe, even got promoted after that. Those officials who fail to distinguish right from wrong are a failure of legal education and also the worst example of civil education. I am a teacher. In addition to pass knowledge on to students, I also teach them how to distinguish right from wrong and to lend a hand when someone needs assistance. I sincerely hope that their future is promising and happy if they are forced to live in an illegality-connived surrounding. I do really worry about them because no one should have wasted 25 years on a wrong thing. Therefore, I bravely stand up and point out the officials' mistake. I hope everyone will come together to pay more attention and realize the judicial and tax system, helping our country get better and better. Thank you.
As Stacy mentioned, it's really unacceptable to induct people raising goblins without any scientific evidence, and this should not happen in Taiwan in 20th century. And this indictment should have not been accepted by the court from the very beginning. While there is no penalty to those governors investigated by Control Yuan to have major violations of law, what's wrong with the government? Amy inspires children through story. What kind of information has been delivered through story? Let's listen to her sharing.
Hi, I'm Amy. I'm a picture book teacher. I share picture books with children, guiding them to learn from stories. Stories are the best materials for kids to learn. Through story, we could travel to places that we've never been before. Or we could have some wonderful experience that we never had before. It's just like a movie. From stories, kids can learn how to respect each other or how to see things from a different point of view, or how to see people beyond first impression. And that's all very important for them. I once read a book, My Friend is Sad, written by Mo Williams, to my students. It goes like this. Elephant and Piggy are good friends. And one day, Elephant was sad. Piggy saw it. And she wanted to make Elephant happy again. She wanted so much that she started to wear all kinds of costumes. And she turned into a clown, a cowboy, and even a robot, just to cheer her friend up. All of this helped, but only lasts for a few seconds. And then the elephant was sad again. And in the end, you know what? Elephant was happy, but not because the clown, the cowboy, or the robot, but because he really wanted to see his friend, and finally he saw Piggy. So he's happy again. This story was talking about emotion, caring, and being friends. What can we do to help our friends when they are sad? As I asked my students, what will they do when seeing their friends sad? And I got wonderful answers from my students. They said they will give their friends some time and space to deal with the emotion, and they will ask if there's anything went wrong and maybe they need help. And perhaps they can solve some problems together too. I was really touched to hear their answers. They learned not to be emotional blackmailed. They should be only responsible for their own emotions. And also, they learn to help others. This is love. Love themselves and love the others. And this is what I would like my students to learn. They are the future, and I want them to know how to love. And when they grow up, they can create a society that is full of love. Love is an ability, and I learned to love from my Shifu, Dr. Hong Daozi. I practiced Qigong in Taiji for 9 years, and what I learned most from Shifu is to love. Shifu teach me to love myself. Before practicing Qigong, I was struggling with my family's emotional blackmail. I couldn't find the peace within myself. And I did not love myself. I was always criticizing myself, and I was not happy. Of course, I wasn't able to bring happiness to people around me too. If I don't love myself, how could I love someone else? And through talking to brothers and sisters in Taiji Men, learning experience from them, I gradually opened my heart and seek for advice from others. Taiji Men was a place full of love and positive energy. That brings me lots of joy. Step by step, I am a happy person now. And because of Taiji Men, now I can bring my joy to my students. Happy teacher, happy student, right? I want my students to be happy, not only learning English in my class, but also learning to create a wonderful life of their own. Taiji Men is a really good place, sharing the positive energy to everyone in the world. I wonder, what if there is no fake case of Taiji Men? There might be more people could benefit just like me from Taiji Men, and that kind of butterfly effect could change the entire world. Taiji Men case started in 1996 by Prosecutor Quan Renho fabricated an indictment and National Taxation Bureau issued unjustified tax bills without evidence. After 10 years and 3 months, the third instance ruling of the criminal court specified that Taiji Men is not guilty. No tax evasion, no violation of tax code. Taiji Men did not commit tax evasion and did not violate the Tax Collection Act. Those earlier falsely detained Taiji Men Dizi and Zhang Menren were ruled to be compensated by nation. However, the National Taxation Bureau keeps sending Taiji Men the same tax bills over and over again. Taiji Men's land was unlawfully auctioned, and on August 21st, 2020, as the second auction failed, the property was confiscated by National Taxation Bureau and Administrative Enforcement Agency. When we are so proud of Taiwan that it is a model for democracy in the Chinese-speaking world, and yet, on the other hand, this true story is happening in Taiwan right now. I wish I don't have to tell this horrified story to my students. All I want is justice. All I want is the government to follow the third instance ruling of the criminal court final judgment on July 13, 2007. And in accordance with Article 117 of the Administrative Procedural Law, the National Taxation Bureau should directly revoke the taxation dispositions. Taiji Men's positive energy could bring love and peace to the world. I would like to see Taiji Men sharing its positive energy to people around the world. The world doesn't need more lie. The world needs more light. That's what the world really needs. Thank you for listening.
It's amazing. Taiji Men is really a wonderful place and make Amy a wonderful teacher. I can also feel the love from her sharing. Amy learned how to love herself and find inner peace and share with others. How the government could listen to people's voices. In accordance with Article 117 of the Administrative Procedure Law, the National Taxation Bureau should directly revoke the taxation dispositions. As mentioned in Han Yu's discourse on teachers, teacher is the one who could propagate doctrine, impart professional knowledge, and resolve doubts. Teachers not only teach students curriculum knowledge in classes, but also let students to develop correct concept of social justice and civilization. I really don't know how those governors with misconduct would face their teachers. If there was no good education, there is no good economy. During this pandemic moment with severe international situation, we cannot just sit and wait. Let's focus on redressing false case and urge government to resolve Taiji Men case, provide children health and life free from fear, complete legislation, and then help them develop adaptively to be pillars of society. Finally, we present you a rock and roll version MV titled as The Truth About Taiji Men Case. Thanks for your participation. Please enjoy it and see you next time.
官下台，官下台。
Truth about the Taiji Men case. Taiwan Supreme Court found Taiji Men not guilty of tax evasion or any other charges. The National Tax Bureau and the Ministry of Finance reneged on the promise to revoke the tax bill. The National Tax Bureau illegally auctioned off the sacred land of Taiji Men. The land was illegally taken into state ownership. Officials' conscience, where are justice and human rights? What is the truth about the Taiji Men case? Taiwan Supreme Court found Taiji Men guilty of tax evasion or any other charges. The National Tax Bureau and the Ministry of Finance reneged on the promise to revoke the tax bill. The National Tax Bureau illegally auctioned off the sacred land of Taiji Men. The land was illegally taken into state ownership. Where is the rogue government officials' conscience? Where are justice and human rights? Is the truth about the Taiji Men case? Taiwan Supreme Court found Taiji Men guilty of tax evasion or any other charges. The National Tax Bureau and the Ministry of Finance reneged on their promise to revoke the tax bill. The National Tax Bureau illegally auctioned off the sacred land of Taiji Men. The land was illegally taken into state ownership. Where is the rogue government officials' conscience?